IVM.
How to Citizen is an IVM production. And if you like the show, you should also check out other IVM shows like Shunya One, a show hosted by techie Sheil Aditya Mukhopadhyay and IVM founder Amit Doshi. Every week, they, along with an esteemed guest from the world of tech, discuss technology and startups. New episodes out every Tuesday on ivmpodcast.com, IVM Podcast app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Welcome to How to Citizen, where we get one guest every episode to talk about one chapter from the 8th grade civics. Today, we are dealing with chapter 6, Understanding Our Criminal Justice System. And we have with us a very special guest, comedian Aishwarya Mohanraj. In this chapter, we delve into a very dramatic reading of dramatic turns of events according to our civic book. We explore whether the police in India is effective at all and what views we have about the police in general. And we have peppered it with some personal stories about confronting the police. Or wait, did they confront us? We will find out in this chapter. Now on with it.
Hello. Welcome to episode 6 of How to Citizen. I'm Shreyas.
I'm Meghnad. Hello.
And I'm very excited. We have someone very special today in the studio.
Yes.
We have Aishwarya Mohanraj.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be excited, everyone.
Yes. It is Aishwarya's first ever podcast,
Yeah.
so we have to treat her well.
We have to treat her
We have to treat her really well.
Aishwarya, how does it feel hearing your own voice with headphones on?
Yeah, it's damn weird, dude. I sound damn good, dude.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with my voice right now. I don't know if I can just sing, right?
You can just say.
I don't want to talk about
Let's
it.
play Antakshari. It's criminal justice system, it's whatever.
Okay, so we have Aishwarya in the studio with us. And Aishwarya, can you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
I'm a stand-up comic and a writer. I have been doing comedy since 2017, June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Very. 21st June to be precise.
Wow.
And I've written for shows like Son of a Beach, Bheti Nak, On Air with AIB, Comic Stan Season 2.
Oh.
It's coming out, whoever is listening. And one more show that I can't talk about. Yeah, I'm just showing off at this point.
Wait, you have written for comic, so like the host links and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Very
fun.
nice.
That's fun.
Yeah, I got paid, guys.
Nice.
Very nice. Yes, you are doing well, clearly. Doing
That's
well.
what.
Yeah, and people can see what you just did, so I'll just describe it. She just went like superstitious on us.
Yeah, I
She's
just
like,
removed
"Touch
my
wood
own nazar."
and nazar utaro. It's
Yeah,
like-
which doesn't make sense because I removed my own nazar and put it back on myself. So I'm an idiot.
So, Aishwarya, how were you in school as a student?
Oh, I was damn studious. I was damn studious. Like, I was one of those nerdy kids who never used to say the F word.
Wow. You still don't?
No, fuck off. I used to say frick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to say frick, which is just... And I used to get damn... like, how could he say the F word, guys? Frick. Yeah, and I had a group of 6 of us and we all were studious. So that kind of motivated me to keep studying and be... The thing is, I had a boyfriend back then.
Yeah.
And he was the topper of the class.
Okay.
And I remember this one time he got, we had a maths exam, prelims or something, and he got some 90 plus and I got 60 something. So I went up to him and I was like, hey, I think we should break up. Yeah, because I think that you deserve much better. You deserve someone who can do math. Someone who can, do A square plus B square plus 2AB. And that kind of, so I was that kind of.
Oh, that's amazing.
How was your school? What was the dynamic of your school? Where was it?
So basically, I went to R and Podar in Santa Cruz.
Right.
Okay.
And it was a great school to be in because our principal was, she wore backless blouse and stuff.
Oh,
That's a
I don't know.
standard.
that's the only criteria for a good school.
I don't know why that's important, but I'm just trying to tell you how
Yeah.
progressive she was.
Yeah.
Because she wore backless blouse.
Amazing.
And we all were like, and she was buddhi, okay? Avneeta ma'am, if you're listening to this, I love you. You're not buddhi. You're young. Oh my god. Okay, she's not okay. She has adult children and belongs to an older age bracket.
Respectful.
Very nice. Very respectful, yeah.
But yeah, she was damn cool. So our schooling was damn cool. We used to do a lot of fun learning activities, whatever that kind of stuff. For history and all, she used to, like, not she, but the teacher used to have role plays and enactment.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Which we are going to do today.
Oh, man,
so
yes.
you've had practice. I love it. He has role play.
She has role play
practice.
practice. That's great.
That's
Also,
amazing.
yeah, role play practice.
Yeah, role play
Only
practice.
in history class, obviously. Nowhere else do I do role play.
Yes, never ever.
Oh man, my mom is listening to this.
Did you like civics? Let's talk about studies.
Yeah, civics was never my favorite thing. I liked history. Geography. I was great at doing ratta rubbish. So geography was like this for me.
Yeah.
Civics, the thing is, I just used to get damn bored
Yeah.
of just. ठीक है ना. Okay, parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that's all I remember. There was legislative assembly,
Yeah.
parliament,
Yeah.
and there's members of parliament.
I love it. You know the basics. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what we are here for.
Supreme Court, High Court.
Now you're just flaunting. Okay,
Oh man.
You're
Okay,
a
I'm going to
genius.
stop. I'm sorry.
The more important thing was, did you know the spellings? Because
Of
otherwise,
civics?
तुमको mark नहीं मिलेगा.
Legislative assembly. L-E.
No, I'm not asking you should just say it. I'm just saying.
Of
did you
course
know
I
it?
knew.
Yeah.
Of course I
Yeah.
knew.
I didn't. So that's why I'm asking.
Legilst.
That's parliament, right?
Yeah. Okay then.
Okay, so first thing that we do in this podcast is you have to describe a place where we are right now sitting, right? Because we are 8th graders. Yeah, we are in your school right now. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to describe a place where you used to chill with your friends
Okay.
in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done. Okay, so basically, I'll tell you the kid that I was. I've never hung out with my friends. I've never gone out chilling with my friends. I used to say frick. Guys, get it. I was that kid. So I've never gone out with my friends and all. But I used to take the bus home.
Yeah.
And we had like 15-20 minutes before the bus left. And there's this Frankie wala outside our school who's called Smarty Frankie. Smarty Frankie, if you're listening to this, love you, buddy. Yeah, because he listens to podcasts.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
And it used to be outside this shop called Scholar,
Okay.
which is where you get all the scholarly stuff. I don't know, man. Books, pens, that kind of shit. And there was this Frankie wala, and we used to like be over there a lot.
Yeah.
Just outside the Frankie. Do you want to do this discussion?
Did you have a favorite?
Go on.
Did you have a favorite Frankie flavor?
Szechuan cheese Frankie.
Always.
Oh, wow.
Always.
Szechuan cheese Frankie
Is the best Frankie.
I'm imagining the food and the place now. So
Oh, man.
I love this immersive experience.
Okay, so we are outside
Speaking
the-
of which,
Yeah.
to have an immersive experience, we are doing something in this podcast, right?
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to check the description of this podcast, and there's a drive link where you can read the chapter with us while we go through this, right? And today we are dealing with chapter 6, which is understanding our criminal justice system.
Whoa.
And I highly recommend that the listeners go to ivmpodcast.com/how-to-citizen, and there you will find this episode, and in the description you'll find this. And I highly recommend they do it this time around because Aishwarya
It's a
and
lot.
Shreyas
It's-
and me are going to do like supreme dramatic reading of the comic books.
For an even more immersive experience, everyone should get a Szechuan cheese Frankie.
Yeah.
From Smarty Frankie's.
From Smarty Frankie's.
What's where we are sitting right now.
Santa Cruz West.
Santa Cruz West.
Near Podar School.
Near Podar School.
Free का promotion भी दे दिया उसको मतलब. Okay, so should we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into the chapter.
This is
Guys, this is like a fucking amazing chapter. I must tell you, my first impressions of the chapter is because this is the 6th episode. Till now, till the 5th chapter, it was like, they were like telling us theory.
Yeah.
Like, ये theory में होता है.
It's
We've
all up
been
in the
always
air.
complaining about, यार, reality में कितना अलग होता है.
Yeah.
ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग?
Yeah.
Theory से. इसमें ना थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही reality
too
दे
real.
दिया.
Oh,
Too
this is
real.
too brutal.
Too brutal.
It's like
too
8th
real.
standard Aishwarya would have just been like, suicide.
It's like, this is our system. What is going on? अभी तक तो मैं बड़ी भी नहीं हुई.
That's why we recommend people don't read their civics books in school. It's the best way. Okay, we'll cut that.
So, the introduction, is this, right? When we see someone violating the law,
Baba.
we immediately think of informing the police.
Is that the first thing you think of when someone violates the law?
I don't even know if they're violating the law most of the time.
Okay.
Think about it that way. Like, I mean, like, ठीक है, सिग्नल तोड़ दिया तो पता है कि हाँ ठीक है तोड़ रहा है. You don't go कि पुलिस वाले वो देख क्या
Yeah,
हुआ.
I think by then my car is already gone.
Yeah, like,
I'm just like,
ठीक है यार हो जाएगा कुछ नहीं. या फिर you call 100 and like मैंने अभी एक सिग्नल तोड़ दिया. That's why they have CCTV cameras everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah. You might have seen either in real life or in the movies police officers filing reports and arresting persons. Because of the role played by the police in arresting persons, we often get confused and think that it is the police who decide whether the person is guilty or not. Now, something about this line though, you might have seen either in real life or in the movies. Now, if you are doing this in say a CBSE slum, in a slum area, it's like a CBSE school which you are reading this chapter versus someone who is from a privileged school. Do you realize how different the answers would be? It's like you might have seen either in real life or in movies. So for either in real life, it would be like, यार मेरा चाचा कल arrest हुआ.
Yeah, in trauma.
वो झगड़ा हो गया था, कितना बड़ा झगड़ा हो गया था वो बाजू में, and these
Singham में देखा था.
exactly. And for because we are so privileged, we would be like, हाँ movie में देखा था.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone get arrested, man.
Yeah.
You haven't? Oh.
What do you guys think about the depiction of police in movies? Like, if you had never seen police in real life, what would you think the police are?
See, it varies, because I've seen a Singham.
Yeah.
I've seen a Dabang.
Yeah.
Then I've also seen those...
The Samay, for instance. The Sushmita Sen and it's a crime thriller. Like where she's hunting down a serial killer.
Okay.
Now there Sushmita Sen is quite kick-ass.
Okay.
Right?
She's a cop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even there's that Razi, for instance. She's a spy.
She's a spy.
And she's a really nuanced, nice, real character there.
Yeah,
Right? But
yeah.
most Bollywood movies are OTT.
Yeah, and cops also, have you seen a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think cops are like that also, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
They're
there's...
not that chill.
No, it's not about them being chill. I think
Yeah.
it's terrible acting. I really liked the movie when I saw it the first time. I was like, whoa, what a point.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
And then I saw it recently. And it just blew my mind as to how they're talking. I
Yeah.
don't think cops talk like that. क्या तुम अपनी जान देने के लिए तैयार हो? तैयार हूँ, sir. Shut up, dude. Why are you yelling? Okay, nobody cares. Nobody talk. There's a
There's
bomb
nobody
over
talking,
there.
yeah.
And nobody's going, क्या तुम अपनी अबे जा bomb निकाल के आ, ठीक है? चल. There's nobody who talks like that.
Yeah, I would actually like to believe there is some sort of motivation given before they do a mission. I mean, just in my head, it just sort of makes sense कि dangerous mission
Yeah,
है. You
something
might
like-
never come back.
No, something like, if you do this, आज रात की party मेरे नाम.
Yeah. That's border, guys.
That's border.
That's border.
I saw Uri yesterday and
Oh, yeah.
guys, I had
I've not seen
goosebumps from just cringing so much.
What?
God.
Throughout the movie. It's
Really?
so bad. I walked out.
What?
I
Frick
walked out.
off. What are you saying? I've heard such great reviews about the movie.
That's what, like, my family was like, everyone in the theater stood up and clapped after the movie. I was like, okay. Let me check.
Oh, you've become a cynic comic, I see. Like, you're that person who's just like, chee, what is all this patriotism, huh?
I mean, even that, I was like, you know what? I know they're going to sell me patriotism, but I was like, for 2 hours, I'll buy it.
Correct.
But they didn't.
Yeah,
they
you
couldn't
stood
sell it to
up
me.
during the national anthem.
No, I
After
went
that,
late. I went late and got out early.
Oh, what a cynic. Won't even stand.
What a character.
BJP,
dude.
are you listening? This is Shreyas Manohar, IVM podcast.
From Nagpur. So,
Oh, RSS.
Okay. So we will continue.
we'll continue.
After a person is arrested, it is the court of law that decides whether the accused person is guilty or not. Right? According to the constitution, every individual charged of a crime has to be given a fair trial.
Sweet.
Do you know what it means to get a fair trial? Have you heard of an FIR? Or do you know who a public prosecutor is?
I don't understand why they ask such questions in textbooks.
Yeah.
All textbooks, they start with this intro where they have like all these questions, which are basically you will understand all this. Don't try to have a conversation with me in the beginning of the chapter. I don't want to know what your feelings are. I don't want to have this conversation. Just tell me what an FIR. Do you know what an FIR is? I obviously don't know. We've not reached the chapter, have we? I've always
That's
hated
true.
this part.
But in this chapter, we will use a fictional case of theft to try and highlight the process as well as the role of different individuals in the criminal justice system. Okay, fictional. Highly doubtful.
No,
Highly
it's not
doubtful.
fictional.
Because it just seems too real, as we have pointed out earlier. Yeah. And you know, guys, I have some very interesting observations about this comic. So this dramatic reading is going to last for a while because it's a 4-page long comic with many plot twists. It's like an Abbas Mustan movie. Yeah.
Hey, Abbas. Hi.
Yeah. Abbas Mustan being not our producer.
Wait, are you not Abbas from Abbas?
He's not Abbas from Abbas.
Why am I even doing this
Unfortunate-
podcast? I'll get a break in one of your movies.
Do you really want a break in one
In
of
Abbas
the movies?
Mustan? Absolutely. You know my movie taste. It's great.
You walked out of Uri.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That means that you have good taste, I'm guessing. Because the way you described Uri was shit.
But race is great.
Race you
Race
like.
is great.
Race is great. Even
Race
I
1
like.
is great.
Race 2? Race 3.
Oh my god.
Oh, what a
horrifying.
cringe watch, man.
Horrifying,
Oh,
horrifying.
man, what a movie.
But okay, so let's do this dramatic
Let's do this.
reading,
Let's
guys.
do this.
Yeah.
So, who's who?
So you play Mrs. Mrs. Shinde for now?
Oh, what a bitch.
Yeah. And Shreyas, you play Mr.
Cool.
I'm the narrator of this whole sequence of events.
Okay,
Okay.
done.
The date, by the way, they have given dates on top of every comic panel, that is how detailed it is.
Oh,
So in
sweet.
18th of July 2006 is when this begins.
Okay.
Right? At their apartment in Mumbai, Mrs. Shinde is getting dressed. She has been frantically searching for her gold chain for over an hour.
I'm sure it was in this drawer. Where could it be?
Hurry up. We are going to be late for the wedding.
I can't find my gold chain. It's not in the drawer. I suspect that Shanti must have stolen it. She always spends a long time dusting my room. Bitch, Sally. That was not a part of the textbook, guys, but it's dramatic.
I
But
bet
reading.
it's
yeah, like these things are allowed, guys. Shanti Hembram has been working in the house for the past 3 years.
Shanti, have you begun to steal now? And that too my gold chain? 1 minute. Okay, I need to pause over here. What do you mean, and that too my gold chain? और कुछ भी चुरा लेती तो चलेगा? Gold chain कैसे चुराया? हाँ? Bangle ले लेती, मेरे पायल ले लेती, हाँ एप्पल ले लेती वहाँ से, चम्मच तो ले ही रही है. And that too my gold chain?
Gold chain.
Idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
Bring your trunk. I want to search it. We've called the police. So if you have the chain now, return it now.
Okay.
Madam, I haven't stolen it.
That was Shanti. Shanti
was
has a very
Shanti.
manly voice.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Shanti Hembram is the maid, and that was played by Shreyas in a very weird voice.
It'll change. It's a work in progress.
Mr. Shinde searches Shanti's trunk and finds an envelope with rupees 10,000 in it. Clearly demonetization की पहले की story है.
Yeah.
He screams at Shanti saying that this is the money she's got from selling the chain.
Sir, my brother and I have been saving this money over the last 1 year. We want to buy a bull when we go to a village. Madam, I am innocent.
बुल खरीदेगी? हाँ, बुल खरीदेगी.
बुल खरीदेगी.
आई बड़ी बुल खरीदने वाली.
अभी तो यहाँ पे.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sorry guys.
She's getting into it, guys.
Yeah,
it's fine.
you're such
it's
a
fine.
Mrs. Shinde, man. It's crazy.
Like she's having the
चुप कर शांति, ठीक है? जाके बर्तन धो के आ. I don't talk like this to I call. Oh my god, I'm coming across so bad. Guys, I really love my maid. My mom calls her Lakshmi dear. I'm not even kidding. And I call her auntie. And we treat her with utmost love and respect. Lakshmi, Didi, auntie, if you're listening, I love you.
No, but this is actually true, right? You know, if you actually act this out in class, it just shows how horribly people behave with their domestic help.
It's shit.
And kids were like, I relate to this. My parents always talk to my maid like this. And it's like,
oh man.
Yeah, that's a little
And also, I feel it's insane that like you lose something and you're like, oh, it's stolen.
It's by
this
maid.
one person.
Yeah, by the maid. I mean, naturally. Okay, Mrs. Shinde has now come to the police station, by the way.
So Mr. Shinde has come.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Shinde has come to the police station, not Mrs. Shinde.
Aishwarya, you're the inspector also, right?
Okay.
I am the inspector. Okay?
Oh, you're the inspector?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now, Mr. Shinde has come to the police station.
I have come to file an FIR. There has been a theft in my house. My maid, Shanti, has stolen my wife's necklace.
And the police is like, yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And the police guy is just like, yes.
हाँ बोला साहब ये तो रोज का होता है
रोज का
यार.
होता है.
Even that would have been a better dialogue. Yes.
So Sub-Inspector Rao records Mrs. Shinde's
Mister.
FIR.
Mrs. is at home. She's crying.
Sorry guys. Sorry. Sub-Inspector Rao records Mr. Shinde's FIR. Right? And then they show like a hand writing out, you know, an extensive FIR with illegible writing. Yeah. And by the way, Shreyas, did you notice? So in chapter 1, there was a Mrs. Rao.
Okay.
Yeah. Who basically was a teacher.
Okay.
So here, the sub-inspector is Rao. Are they husband and wife?
I'm sorry, I've not read the first chapter.
No,
So I don't know the
yeah.
character traits
Yeah.
of this. Would she marry a sub-inspector, this teacher? Did she seem like that?
She was very careless with Suresh.
She was
very careless. It's like a Marvel universe in the civics books, right? You know, it's like there are these comic books where characters repeat.
How
and
sad is your life?
I know, right?
That you made this your Marvel universe.
Either that or it's our overactive imagination. My overactive imagination.
यार वहाँ पे एक राव थी, यहाँ पे एक राव है, शादी हो गई.
I
Guys-
also think it's Suresh who has stolen the chain. Just so you know, just dropping it there.
Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go and listen to chapter 1
Oh,
again.
that's what you
Yeah.
wanted. You should have just said that.
Plug. All the episodes are
Guys,
linked.
first you finish this, okay? Don't go anywhere. This is better than episode 1. I'm trying over here, okay? Who was episode 1?
Rohan Joshi.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, back to the story. Mr. Shinde returns with Sub-Inspector Rao. I am Sub-Inspector Rao. I will now write the statements that Mr. and Mrs. Shinde make about this theft. Let me seal the envelope that has the money and take it with me as evidence. I'm arresting Shanti and taking her to the police station.
Please don't let him take me. I have not stolen the chain. This is my hard-earned money.
Yeah, that was Shanti, by the way. She does a better Shanti than you, Shreyas.
I'm replaced.
I am a
Please
woman.
take that.
Yeah.
I better play a better Shanti.
Yeah. Okay, now a month has passed. It's 19th of July 2006. No, not a month. It's not a month. Sorry. A few days have passed, actually. This happened on the 18th and this is on the 19th.
One day
Next
has
day.
passed.
1 day has passed. Sushil, Shanti's brother, arrives and pleads with Senior Inspector Rao to release Shanti. She has been arrested for the theft of a gold chain. You can go to court and get a bail order.
But where will I get the money to hire a lawyer? And who will stand as surety for her?
Surety.
Surety for her.
The fuck, Shreyas? Please read your chapter, man. What happened? You fell asleep or what?
You have taken all of our savings and sealed it.
So basically, that's just sad, guys. That's absolutely sad what is happening now. I mean, her brother came to help her out.
Yeah.
Hey, but
Right.
one
Upar
minute,
se it's
okay?
like-
This is now this 10,000 rupees
Yeah.
that auntie over there, Shinde,
Yeah.
she's telling ki ye mera churaya hua hai.
Right.
And these people are saying, no, this is our hard-earned money.
Yeah.
So that 10,000 they've kept it.
Yeah, they've kept it.
So then how is it bad or sad or whatever?
I mean, so basically the whole thing is that...
because if they give it to this man, he will spend it.
No, what I'm trying to say is that he's like, get a bail order, which means that he'll have to pay bail. But he's pointing out that I don't have any money. That was all the savings we collectively had.
Correct.
So, I mean, in this situation, Shanti's brother is really like facing like a really sad
Trauma.
state of
See,
mind.
now
trauma,
that
yeah.
now then we're talking about poverty and stuff.
Yeah. But that is I think that those are the undertones throughout this, story
yeah.
as well, where,
But
how
what
justice...
could the law have done?
Exactly, but that's how I think it's also like important to point out that how law works. It also depends on what strata of society you come from.
Correct.
Right. So here, Shanti and her brother, who are from a lower strata of the society, they are clearly facing the brunt of it badly,
Obviously.
rather than someone like, say, for
But they
instance,
face the brunt of everything badly. I
Absolutely.
Think, yeah, like even food.
yeah.
They're eating roti sabzi,
Yeah.
whereas we're going to food hall.
Yeah, absolutely. And but that I think this is an important thing.
This
that
was a dig at Rohan Joshi.
अरे इंटर एपिसोड एनिमिटी भी हो रही है अभी मजा आ रहा है मेरे को ओके सो मूविंग ऑन Senior Inspector Rao forcibly keeps Sushil in the police station for 2 days.
Oh, that's wrong.
So Sushil को arrest कर लिया.
No, that's very wrong.
Sushil is abused and beaten by Senior Inspector Rao and other police constables.
Oh, horrible.
They try and make him confess that he and his sister Shanti had a gang of domestic servants that have stolen jewelry from other homes also. There has been other complaints of theft of jewelry from Shinde's neighborhood. As Sushil keeps repeating that he is an innocent factory worker, the police let him go after 2 days. After torturing him and beating him, trying to make him confess, of course. So now we are in August, 23rd of August 2006. Although the court granted bail to Shanti after a month, she was unable to get anyone to stand for surety for her. Stand surety for her for rupees 20,000. She therefore continued to be in jail. She is very traumatized.
Yeah,
she
if you
is
guys
worried.
can see this photo, she's very traumatized.
Can you describe the expression?
Uh,
At all?
Traumatized.
yeah, it's... She should get a nose job.
Oh, wow.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I'm
there-
gonna get so much time. I'm kidding, guys. She looks great.
Now
No,
you wanna do her monologue now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So me with my perfect nose is going to do her. They have just made such a bad nose to
Yeah,
it.
the illustration is a little...
Yeah, it's very
Too
poor.
tragic. Yeah.
If you guys are seeing this, but her lips are great. It feels like she's done a lip job. Oh man. Okay, so she's worried about what will happen during the trial. So then this is my internal monologue.
Right.
Shanti is holding the jail bars.
Right.
And I was just looking out. This very graphic description.
Yeah.
What will happen to me? I haven't done anything wrong, and yet I am behind bars just because Madam suspects me. And the money that I've been saving, will I ever get it back?
If you guys have the book in front of you, I'm talking to the listeners, she can go through the space between the two bars.
That's true.
There's so much space there.
Yeah, that's actually true. ऐसे थोड़ा side में
Oh,
होता
I
है.
thought you were going to say, hey, Aishwarya, great rendition. You deserve an all. But okay then.
That was just a euphemism for that. Like, I just didn't want to be so direct. I wanted to be a little subtle, and that's why I made up this
No,
whole
then you
thing.
spoke about jail bars.
Yeah.
That get out or some shit like that.
Okay, so now we are in the next month, which is September 14th, 2006. The police files a charge sheet in the magistrate's court. The court gives a copy of the charge sheet, including statements of the witness, to Shanti. Shanti tells the court that she has no lawyer to defend her against this false case of theft. Magistrate appoints Advocate Kamla Roy as Shanti's defense lawyer at the government's expense. Okay, so basically she has gotten a lawyer appointed for her. And they have given context of why also, which is nice. According to Article 22 of the Constitution, every person has a fundamental right to be defended by a lawyer. Article 39A of the Constitution places a duty upon the state to provide a lawyer to any citizen who is unable to engage one due to poverty or other disability.
Wait, if they are talking about the right to a fair trial, but they have imprisoned her and her brother.
So the
for
trial
nothing.
begins in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is what they're trying to say, that, that this is how now will be the
Now
beginning
will be
of
the
a
fair trial. Isse pehle, the thing is, you need to give a surety of 20,000. Someone has to give a surety ki, okay, I am responsible for this person.
Yeah.
So here is 20,000 rupees and me being responsible.
But there's like no burden of proof, nothing. You just suspect
So
someone.
essentially that, right? Like, for instance, the magistrate, when you go to the magistrate, and again we'll read it later, in 24 hours you have to go to a magistrate where the bail hearing will take place.
Yeah.
The reason why they have given a day's thing in the middle where he's like saying, I don't have money, is because 24 hours will be given to him to put up the surety, bail money, and then the magistrate will be like, haan, theek hai. It's a bailable offense.
Okay.
So you give this money and then, you can take her, but you can't leave town. You have to report to the police station every week to check in and all of those things.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
she can be free, like up and about, but she has to go back.
If
If you remember Singham,
yeah.
there is a politician who has to come and keep coming to his police station to sign his bail thing, right?
Yeah.
He's out on bail and he keeps coming back to him, and then there's like this whole dramatic scene of Prakash Raj throwing a fit, etc.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is the procedure.
Procedure.
Right? Before we move on, I will have to take a short break here, right? And then we will come back and do the continue the dramatic reading because there's a plot twist.
This is
guys.
intermission, guys.
Yeah, there's intermission. Intermission. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a great week on IVM Podcast. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We launched our listener survey last week, and we'd like you to really participate in that if you haven't already. We're offering a free mug for a few select winners if you fill out the survey and give us your email address. So go to the website ivmpodcast.com/survey, and there's a link over there to filling out the survey. Please do, and we'd really appreciate that. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus's guest is policy professional Meghnad S. Meghnad sheds light on working with parliamentarians, some trivia about our laws, and his new podcast, How to Citizen. On How to Citizen, we're on Chapter 6, Understanding Our Criminal Justice System. The guest for the episode is comedian Aishwarya Mohanraj. The host and Aishwarya ponder the inequalities of justice and what would be a way to put it right. On Simplified, Chuck and Shrike take another look at Brexit and the predicaments in store for the UK in March. On Pulyabazi, the hosts are in conversation with Dr. Alok Shukla, who served as Deputy Election Commissioner to investigate the Indian electoral process. On the Habit Coach podcast, Ashton talks about how the technique of box breathing helps fight anxiety. And with that, let's continue with your show.
Welcome back. This is episode 6, chapter 6. We have with Aishwarya. We'll resume the story. Advocate Kamala Rao.
No, I am the narrator.
You are the
dude.
narrator, I'm sorry.
भूल गए तुम क्यों character भूल रहे हो बार-बार? I am the narrator, guys. So yeah, Advocate Kamala Roy meets Shanti in court.
Here are my case papers. I have been falsely accused of stealing my employer's gold chain.
They found 10,000 in Shanti's trunk and said this was the money she got from stealing the chain. But that is money that we have been saving up together.
I understand the pain in your voice because your face is painful.
Yeah, it's
Shanti's brother.
it's real acting.
Yeah. Shanti's brother has a painful look and he's basically explaining the situation. So in December then, the court frames a charge of theft of Mrs. Shinde's gold chain and possession of money rupees 10,000 got from stealing stolen property against Shanti.
I plead not guilty and I claim trial.
Nice. The trial before the magistrate begins. The public prosecutor is appointed in March, by the way. The passage of time is now getting like, yeah. In March, the public prosecutor appears in the case on behalf of the state. He presents Mrs. and Mr. Shinde as the key witness. I'll be the prosecutor. So, tell me, Mrs. Shinde, how did the gold chain go missing?
Acha suno. I had kept my chain in the drawer. Okay, Shanti stole it. No other outsider except Shanti goes into my room. Mr. Shinde searched her. Why is she calling her husband Mr. Shinde? What the fuck is this, dude? Auntie's crazy. Just call him Raju. Mr. Shinde searched her trunk in front of me and we were shocked to find rupees 10,000 in an envelope. Shanti got this money from selling my gold chain. She is a thief.
Next, Advocate Roy cross-examines the prosecution witness, Mrs. Shinde. So, I will play Advocate Roy because she's the superhero in the story and I want to be the superhero. So, what you are basically saying is that you did not see Shanti steal the chain, nor did you recover the chain on Shanti. Also, in the 3 years that she has worked for you, nothing has been stolen from the house. You were also regularly paying her rupees 1,000 as salary each month.
1,000
Yeah.
rupees, that's
And
shit.
Mrs. Shinde looks genuinely shocked here.
Yeah.
After hearing her my compelling arguments.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mrs. Shinde needs a lot of work on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Much surgery is required on her face. Yeah.
Oh, I don't, guys, I'm just kidding. You can look the way you want.
Yeah.
I'm just making jokes over here. I don't have anything against old people and I don't promote plus. You know what? You do you. Okay?
You do you. Absolutely. Thank you for that disclaimer, Aishwarya. You saved our asses.
No, I'm saving my ass. I don't give a fuck about yours.
Okay. Now it's April. Advocate Roy examines Sushil and his employer as defense witness. Or through their testimonies, she is able to show that the rupees 10,000 found in Shanti's trunk could well be the earnings of Sushil and Shanti. And then again, passage of time. Yeah. Now we are in June. No. We are in May. We are in May. As the trial is nearing completion, Sushil learns that Inspector Sharma has busted a gang of young men who have been stealing jewellery from the Shinde's neighbourhood.
Din, din, din.
Plot twist. Some of Mrs. Shinde's son's friends are a part of this gang. I mean, can't bring up your own son only. And दूसरों को इल्जाम लगा रहे हो? क्या चलो?
Oh man.
Mrs. Shinde's chain has been found on them. So her own son.
Yeah.
Stole. That's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
Her whole son stole the chain.
Have you guys ever done this?
Stolen the chain?
No, just like
No, I
just
have
been
never.
like assholes. Done something to like stolen something and not stolen, but done something but put the blame on someone else.
I remember like stealing a rubber once.
And blaming it on whom?
Nobody caught me, so it's fine.
Oh, wow.
You stole.
I stole a rubber and I was feeling very guilty about it. It was a very pretty rubber. It was not like those non-dust weird rubbers.
That doesn't make you better.
It doesn't make me better. I
मैं
know.
normal वाला नहीं चुराया.
Chala churaya.
Like standards है मेरे चुराने के.
Has that ever happened with you?
What?
You've done something horrible?
I have.
Okay, tell.
No, I'm not.
Tell.
It's damn embarrassing, dude.
Hey, no matter what happens, you have the right to a fair trial. So don't worry. This is a safe
No,
space.
this was when I was 5.
That's fine. So
I
it's
know.
out of limits. So it's what statutory.
Oh
Yes.
man, I still feel so bad about it, dude.
We are silently waiting for her to reveal it, but okay, fine.
Oh.
We will move on, guys. We will move
I
on.
think she was just ready to tell it. No? We can move on. Okay, let's move on.
Mrs. Shinde's chain has been found on them. Sushil tells the Advocate Roy about this. Advocate Roy now calls Inspector Sharma as a defense witness.
Inspector Sharma, can you show and tell us what you found?
And Inspector Sharma is saying, here is the chain that has been identified by Mrs. Shinde as hers. We busted a gang of boys who had stolen the chain. These boys have admitted that they stole the chain. And Mrs. Shinde doesn't bring up her children properly. That's not a part of it, but it should be. It should be. So now time passes again. 2 months pass again. In July, a year later from the first incident. The judge hears the testimony of all the witnesses after the testimony of Inspector Sharma. Advocate Roy argues before the judge that it has now been established that Shanti is innocent and should be acquitted. An year later, okay?
I'm the judge.
Yeah, and the judge is like a friendly guy who is...
Yeah, really nice smile on his
Yeah,
face.
I'm sweet and all that.
Yeah.
Shanti, you are hereby acquitted of the charge of theft. The police will hand over to you the 10,000 that they had sealed.
Yeah.
In my written judgment, I've made it a point to highlight S.I. Rao's role in conducting such a shoddy investigation that made you spend time in jail.
And that's it. That's the end, guys.
That's the end
And
of
for
the story.
this is a fair trial. Like, this is an example of, everything worked out.
Yeah, like she got that 10,000. Right now, she should get it with interest, okay?
Yeah.
एक
More
साल तो
than
तुम उधर
interest.
रखा, right? So you should get more money
The state
back.
should pay her damages, essentially.
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
pay her damages. And also, what is this? I've highlighted S.I. Rao's role.
How does she care? How does that change Shanti's life at
Yeah,
all? But
I
this
don't
months of trauma.
Yeah, exactly. And S.I. Rao's role, basically, he will get like, what, a citation? Or in like official
yeah,
citation?
like some suspension max.
What
Yeah.
about the son?
Now the son will go to juvie or something.
Yeah,
But assuming
looks like
he's...
If your son ever did it, would you take him to the
Police.
Yeah, dude.
police?
Like in the sense, if he made, like for 1 year he's made. First of all, I'm not going to be a musician there. Okay.
Yes.
You
I'm
will
not
raise
gonna-
him well.
You're gonna have a better nose.
No, forget the raising. I'm not going to be like Sali tune churaya.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
No,
A
people do
lot
that,
of
of course.
people do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And this is such a Bollywood movie plot also. We have seen this happen, like Maid Ne Churaya, wo to hota hi hai.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also this about, how when a son commits a crime, right? The parents are like, nahi, isko kuch bhi karke bachana hai. And that's how villains are made.
Yeah, have you guys watched Wild Tales?
No, I haven't. What is this?
Oh, you definitely should watch it. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And there's this one, so it's basically 6 short stories.
Right.
And one of the stories is about a boy who has hit and run
Right.
and how his parents are like trying to save him by what's the word? By making the driver take basically Salman Khan.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Can I say all?
yeah. Absolutely. Salman Khan nahi sunne wala
Salman
hai.
Khan, I love you. Oh shit, but yeah, basically it's that. It's a very fun story because in the end it's just like everyone tries to like get money out of him. He's
Right.
damn rich. Just watch it, guys. I don't want to ruin it for you.
It'll be fun. Also, real life cases have happened, right? Where in Nagpur, I remember this one case prominently, where some kids who were under 18, they were driving a car, their parents' car, I'm assuming, and they went outside a blind school, and there were some kids crossing the road, and the car smashed into them, and basically
Yeah.
they were dead. And it was horrifying, right?
Wait, you don't know the next part to this?
What happened?
So just to give more context, 4 kids, they was in like 10th grade, same year as me, like rich kids from big industrial families in the city. They were riding a BMW, and right before this happened, I still remember this for some reason. One of the guys who I had on BBM, he was listening to Avicii. This is Levels by Avicii. Like right before this happened, minutes before this happened.
How do you know this?
It was on my BBM. Like it was a big deal then. So everyone was like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?"
No, it was in your I
Black-
don't know.
so
No, I know
Blackberry-
BlackBerry
Yeah.
Messenger. In that you can just write, "I'm listening to Avicii right now."
Yeah, like you could do that. Like what you are listening to. So
Oh,
He
okay,
just
that's
did
damn
that.
cool, dude. I mean, not
The
taking away from
technology.
Sorry, the
Avicii-
technology is
technology
impressing
is
me right now. I'm sorry.
yeah, but these 4 people, they ran over 2 people, right? And then they freaked out.
Yeah.
So they put the car in reverse, and by this time, more people were coming from the back,
Right.
and they ran over 2 more people while going back.
Oh my god,
So I
that's
think
horrifying.
3 or 4 people lost their lives, and because these kids were from
Rich
whatever
families.
yeah, it all clean slate, nothing happened, everyone's chilling, still driving around.
Oh my god, that's horrifying. But yeah, that's the whole point. Like, that was what was going on, was that their parents were like super privileged and, in government offices and etc. They were like all high places. So, kuch nahi hua. Boss, kuch nahi hua. And that is why I said when that bail scene came up,
Yeah.
that it's such a question of privilege, right?
Yeah,
Where
of course.
it's like if you're from a privileged place, if your parents are well connected or whatever, the police will not do shit. And that we have seen instances of this
In movies
across
and,
in
yeah.
movies, in real life, wherever, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is one thing that this chapter also sort of brings out. But do you think the teacher will actually explain this part?
I don't think the thing is, if you have even a least bit of empathy, if you're reading this. You will be like 1 minute. This is wrong.
This is wrong.
See the way they've explained the whole torture process and stuff.
Right.
I am bound to feel okay. This is wrong.
This is wrong. What is happening is wrong.
yeah, like
But the textbook makes no mention of it.
of what?
Like the fact that this happened Like it just goes on casually. It's like, yeah, these are the 4 roles.
No, but
Like-
for instance, like later, they basically say that from the above incidents, they are actually then putting it in different context as well. Like,
Right.
throughout the chapter, they're changing like conditions in this case.
Yeah.
And saying, was this right? Do
Yeah.
you think this was right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
now they'll go to what is the role of police in the police in
Investigating
investigating.
Definitely not
the crime.
this.
So it's a good thing that they've given this illustration and now they're using it to explain, say, what is the role of the police in investigating a crime. Then they go on to talk about Article 22, etc. Then they basically also talk about what is an FIR.
Correct.
They talk about what is the role of a public prosecutor, which is very important. Then they talk about the role of a judge. Then they talk about what is a fair trial even.
Correct.
And in each of these sections, they are going back to the Shanti example and changing the conditions a little bit.
Correct.
Right? For instance, like if you go to the part where they are talking about a fair trial, right, which is on, for the listeners as well, it's on page 73, right? The question is, what is a fair trial? So it's like, let us for a moment imagine what might have happened if the judge decided to try Shanti's case very differently, right? What if the court did not give a copy of the charge sheet and statements of a witness to Shanti? What if he held the trial in a secret location where neither Shanti nor Sushil were present? What if he did not give Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witness of the prosecution, such as Mrs. Shinde, and instead had already decided that Shanti was guilty, right? So essentially they're changing the conditions of the story, right, to explain how it cannot be a fair trial.
Yeah.
But it's like they're normalizing what happened by saying, oh guys, it could have been worse. Like it could have been so much more unfair. So this is just suck it up.
Basically,
No, the
they
thing
are...
is, see the trial, no. Trial, if you say, according to hard fact law,
Yeah.
it's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what is written in the constitution.
Absolutely,
as to-
and that you're absolutely right actually, because this is how a fair trial is supposed to look like according to the book.
But
Like
pre-trial-
not the beating up part, by the way.
Not the beating
Not
up
the
part.
beating up part,
Yeah.
but because they say in Article 22 of the Constitution and criminal law guarantee to every arrested person the following fundamental rights.
Yeah.
Okay. The right to be informed at the time of arrest of the offence for which the person is being arrested. So inform to kar diya tha. ठीक है. The right to be presented before a magistrate within 24 hours of the arrest, right? So that whole scene where the bail thing happened, where he couldn't present the bail, so that was 24 hours, so they have mentioned that as well. The right to not be ill-treated or tortured during the arrest or in custody. So now they've pointed out that this is something that went wrong. Right?
This is probably a question like what went wrong in the
what
trial
went
or
wrong.
something. Right.
Then confessions made in police custody cannot be used as evidence against the accused.
Correct.
Yeah,
Why
it cannot be, because there is always like this whole thing about like he might be tortured. He was not in conditions where confessions could be given.
Yeah.
So by default, it's like no.
Yeah.
A boy under 15 years of age and women cannot be called to the police station only for questioning. Right? So like these are all things that we have already. So essentially what they're trying to do through this illustration and through telling us this is now you will have to apply this to that case and then find out what went wrong.
Correct.
Right? And I think that's a great way to sort of explain it to kids, right? What is a fair trial? What is not? What is what goes into like arrests? What are FIRs? What is the job of a judge, etc. So all of this is given, right?
Yeah.
Guys, have you ever seen have you ever gone to the police station?
I have touchwood never gone.
You have never gone to the police
But
station?
as a comic, I'm always skeptical. As I mentioned before, nobody needs plastic surgery, and Modi's best.
I went to police station last month.
Right?
Oh,
I mean, not because of some. So I was walking near home, and there are these bikers on Carter Road, right? And this one biker just went and एक ऑटो वाले को उसने कट मारा. So this auto वाला, it was a new auto. It fell down. The glass broke. The auto वाला was hurt. And the auto वाला was like, "Hey, क्या रे मार के जा रहा है?" And he might have used some objectionable words.
Right.
And then these bikers came up and just beat the shit out of him. Like this one guy had a stone, they just hit him with a stone. And he's like, देखो गाड़ी का damage हो गया. So they broke the auto even more.
Oh,
So I was there, I
wow.
noted down the number and all. Then all the auto walas of the area came. They're like, "Yeah, kaun hai re?" Then all the bikers ran. Then we went to the police station.
Oh, and you were a witness?
I was a witness.
Oh,
So
did you
I-
write, like, did you
Yeah,
write
my
down?
number is there, everything, my
Did they
address.
call you after that?
No. But I went with the auto wala, like the main auto wala. His name is Wasim. I've chilled
Guys,
with
you
him.
should just look at Shreyas right now if you could. He is so happy.
So
But you
it was
participated in a...
What a kid.
Yeah. I liked it. Like, basically, he's happy that he was there to witness it and he has actually done his
like,
part.
He's happy that this happened.
I'm not
Well,
happy.
that's what it is right now. He's just happy. This Wasim,
Not happy.
this chokra Wasim.
Not happy. But then I went with, so I traveled around with the main auto wala guy. Then the police were like, yeah, we'll figure it out. But then I went with the auto wala and we went to all the garages to check if they're there. And nothing happened, but it was still exciting, but very scary. And it, like, I'm not getting some sick pleasure out of it, Aishwarya.
Are you
If that's
sure?
what, yeah. It's
Because you look like that.
No,
You're
this
very
is-
happy
It's
right
just
now.
nervous energy. This is like my. I need to stop smiling. Moving on. Yeah, so I went to a police station and, yeah, what was your question?
So, why did you
ever go to a police
there
station?
you answered it. Yes. You were a witness. That's great. So I
What about you?
actually had like I have a very fun, like, not a funny but a weird but funny story. So I was at home in Delhi, in South Delhi, and I heard like intense screaming one day. Right?
Okay.
And like it was like someone is beating someone up,
Oh,
right?
God.
And like extreme screaming, and there was a woman's voice, and the dude was just screaming and screaming, and you could hear like glass breaking and shit. It was like in the neighborhood. So I called the police. And I called the police because there was like a giant crowd outside. I called the police and said, listen, there is some disturbance happening here. You have to come fast because it doesn't sound very good. There's a lot of crowd gathering, etc. So they came. And the police are super reactive in Delhi, right? Especially in South Delhi. So they came in like 2 minutes. A PCR van was there, so they told them and it came.
Sweet.
So response time is really good. So they came, the police guy went up and they were still fighting when that happened. They went up and then immediately the fighting stopped, etc. They came down and then they called me. Right? So I was upstairs and so I had to come down. And then turns out that the fight was happening in an advocate's house, right? A lawyer's house, right?
Okay.
So I basically, they started questioning me.
What?
Why were you calling him? Why did you call us? This is just like a domestic incident.
Arre?
What is your concern here, etc. And by the time police came, they went up, they did all that. By the time they came down, the crowd had completely dispersed. It was just me then, because I had called them. So then they were like, तुम्हारा statement लेना पड़ेगा, चलो हमारे साथ police station, right? And then it's like,
But what about the woman? Like she.
So that's the thing. So like they went up, they did something, they came down, and then they took me to the police station. Right? कि तुम witness हो, तुम ही लिखोगे, you sort this out, we are not doing
But
anything.
isn't she supposed to file an FIR?
Exactly. So it was not like an FIR wasn't filed there. Like, I'm not going to file an FIR. I was just like a witness who was going to report that they came.
Something like this happened.
That something like this happened. And it was like a witness report that I saw
Got
this.
it.
Yeah. So then they took me to the police station and then they started grilling me. कि क्या हुआ है, कैसे हुआ है, etc. etc. So I was there for like half an hour and like telling them कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है. I wrote a statement, I signed it, and they didn't even drop me back home. So I had to come back by myself because they took me in the van. But then they were like, हाँ आप घर जाओ. देखा रे भाई वहाँ पे भी ले सकते थे ये, but no. So when I came back, then the weird shit started happening because for the next 3 days, a guy from the lawyer's office kept coming to me and started to threaten me कि हम तेरे against case file करेंगे अभी. तेरे against, you gave wrong information, you misled the police, you did a lot of shit. And I was like fucking scared because I did not see anything change in their lives. The dude still came out, the old dude who I was assuming was beating someone, still came out, सुबह चाय पीता था, सब कुछ normal था. The wife or whoever it was, I don't know what happened to them or where they went, but the police never came to them, they just kept coming to me. Right? And it was horrifying. And after that, I have decided I will never report to the police.
Oh man.
And it's just a traumatic incident. I had to come back from work. I had to like keep going to the police station because the guy was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he just
Wanted to make
so I was
sure
like,
that
"Nahi, I'm like taking this back. I don't want to deal with this shit." So yeah, I mean it's horrifying. And it also talks about how people don't trust the police? Because here in the comic as well, they have shown that the guy was tortured.
Yeah.
Constables beat him. He was arrested, but like, marte isko, confess karate.
Yeah.
You know? But it's very tragic. What do you think? Like, do you think, what is the role of a police in our society? What should it ideally be? If it's not like this, what should they do?
Just do their job.
Yeah.
How easy and how lame of an answer is that? But see, that's the thing, right? Police brutality is a thing which is massive in this country,
Yeah.
okay? And also a lot of it is because they, even their not rights, but their conditions, just how much they get paid for the kind of work that they're doing, that the hours that they spend.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
The amount of time you're spending and you're taking care or you're protecting the society or whatever.
Right.
And the return that you're getting on it, especially at a constable level.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not as much.
Yeah, that actually you're absolutely right, because the amount of work that they put in, and they're overworked,
They were
understaffed,
correct,
and their pay is not much, and therefore they have to rely on bribes.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a case. That is absolutely. I agree with
I'm
it.
not justifying this behavior with that. I'm just saying ki if you've taken up the profession. You start, I'm sure everyone who becomes a police thinks ki, I'm going to change the society, or I'm going to be that person who's never going to take a bribe, or I'm never going to, lose my temper.
Right.
But I don't know. I really fail to understand that the system affects you so much that it corrupts you.
Yeah.
It affects your psyche.
Yeah.
And then you end up
Doing
becoming...
this.
And then you see your seniors, right?
Right.
Who are constantly taking bribes, who are climbing the ladders, your peers who are doing these illegal activities, are seeing the best life.
Yeah.
There's just so much pressure, and then you end up doing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't think the police behave like this for sadistic pleasure.
Right.
कि इसको तो आज तो यार
आज तो ये
सुशील को मारने के जो मजा आने वाला है.
Right.
But I don't know. I hope there's a way in which this can be countered,
Right.
which accounts to even this part of the
Yeah.
story where
Right.
they are not treated,
Right.
or they don't get enough compensation.
Right.
Okay.
And it's very interesting because it's a very vicious, weird cycle.
Correct.
Is what you're saying. Like
Correct.
basically, once you become a part of a shitty system, you become shitty.
Yeah.
I get that. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, because the same happens with our bureaucrats. The same happens with our politicians. The same happens with and I know, like, I get incredulous look when I say politicians as well, because the assumption is when they get into the system, they are the ones who are corrupting the system.
Right.
Like that is the general belief, right?
Yeah.
But even the politicians have to follow certain systems, right? For instance, in episode 3, we spoke about the parliament, right? And we spoke about this law called anti-defection.
Okay.
Which means that you cannot vote according to your wish, right? What the law says is that if you vote on a bill according to your wish and you go against the orders of the party leader, you will be kicked out of parliament.
Oh.
You have to vote as a bloc.
Got it.
Right? So these are systemic rules which have made them behave in a certain way. Right? Like, for instance, either there might have been pressure on this Senior Inspector Rao to report convictions. Right? Maybe he was pulled up कि तुम्हारे यहाँ पे convictions तो कुछ होते नहीं है, तुम investigate तो कुछ करते नहीं हो. Turnaround time ज़्यादा चाहिए.
Correct.
Right? To show more efficient police.
Correct.
ऊपर से pressure आ रहा है. So there he's like, यार किसी को भी पकड़ के लाओ और उसको confess कराओ.
Yeah.
Like, case to solve ho jayega.
Which is horrible.
Yeah.
You're doing an absolutely wrong thing by doing it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like...
It's not a justification, but this is
Correct.
how things are, right?
Yeah.
And they will always pick up someone from the lower strata of the society.
Of course.
Who is powerless. Like her brother. Right?
Didn't have like money to pay for the bail.
Right.
So just how...
Absolutely. And I think, there needs to be a systemic overhaul, definitely. But more than that, there needs to be a change of perception. What do you think? Like, for instance, police is not something you should run away from unless you haven't done a crime.
No, but see, now you went through a bad experience, right? And that's what made you feel,
Absolutely.
I don't want to get into this mess again.
Right.
So that's what, see, the thing is, in a utopian world, it's very easy to say, ki, you know what, we should not run away from the police. Like as a kid, I was told a lot of things by my parents, my teachers and everything, ki, okay, you should not do this, you should not do that. Because I belong to this privileged class, I'm able to do a lot of it. Where I'm able to say no to something unethical,
Right.
where I'm able to say no to say, like, okay, I don't want to bribe this
Yeah.
traffic cop, I will pay the fine,
Fine.
whatever it is, because okay, theek hai yaar, I can do it.
Yeah.
But someone who is from a lower strata of the society, how is anyone supposed to make ends meet and still be this ethical person?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. To look at like the police, we should not be fearful of the police.
Right.
Three of us, maybe not.
Yeah.
But down there, I think it's damn difficult for them to
Absolutely.
not be afraid of the
Absolutely.
police, because
And that is where the experience is like. We started off this chapter with that sentence, right? Describe things that have happened either in real life or in movies.
Correct.
And that is the whole context of the situation, where
Correct.
some people who have had real life experiences with the police have had such horrifying incidents that they were like, can't trust them. But in movies, they always show most trusting thing ever. They will take down villains like nothing else.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to navigate these things. Like in your mind, police is supposed to protect you. We are supposed to trust the police.
Yeah.
For systemic reasons, for pressure, for whatever it is, they've been turned into this mess, who are torturing and beating up people,
Correct.
right? Or just harassing witnesses. And that, I think, is what the civics book is also trying to tell us.
yeah.
And that is why I said that in the first 5 chapters, this was all about theory. There was
Correct.
very less practical. But yahan pe it's all practical.
Yeah.
They're just telling you how it is.
Yeah.
So to end the podcast, I just want to ask one question. Do you think this is a good idea for 8th grade kids to have this shock of reality of a situation?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah?
To be honest, as in, I've met a lot of 8th graders.
Yeah.
I used to teach at an NGO. And at that point, I've met a lot of them are very aware about the
Right.
surroundings and the
Right.
things. And even if you meet people, say, from a privileged background, they're not idiots.
Right. Yeah.
They're aware that such things happen. And the thing with kids is our ability to move on is so good. Ki I read this chapter, I feel bad.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's not great also,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel bad for a day,
Yeah.
even a day. Like
Right.
it's a chapter. At the end of the day, I'm going to get desensitized to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because I'm going to read it as a chapter.
Yeah.
I'll like, ठीक है यार, शांति का क्या हुआ, सुशील का क्या हुआ, उसके बाद क्या हुआ.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's not like an 8th grader is going to be very surprised or shocked ki, oh my god, what is happening? Is this my society? How am I going to... He's just going to be like, okay, wait, this is my chapter. Isme important points kya hai, highlight karo.
That's it.
It's just when you are actually... It's in the class, if you're paying attention and the teacher is good.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is enacted or
Right.
whatever. And questions like these are asked.
Yes.
That we are asking right now. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this was right?
Yeah.
Is when you start to introspect and make form opinions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes another chapter in my textbook and I move on to the 7th chapter.
That's very interesting. And I think that is you have basically summed up our podcast very
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah.
That is basically what
Can we
we're
use
trying
that as
to
a
do.
promo? We have to shoot promos,
Yeah,
right? Let's just
yeah.
use that
This
as a
can be
promo.
the introduction of this. No, but that's a very good way to end the chapter and
Yeah.
the episode.
Yeah.
We are out of time as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
It was
Aishwarya.
so much for
great.
coming.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
me, guys.
First podcast.
First
Congratulations.
podcast.
It's done.
No longer a podcast virgin.
Yeah.
So this was also your first listening podcast, right? Your first
Yeah, because I'm listening to my own
And
self.
how was it? How do you...
I think I sound great.
Yeah.
You boys
Amazing.
were good too.
Thank you.
I think you
Thank
should review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, I'll do. Can I do it on an Android?
Yeah. No.
I don't. Can I? Sorry.
On Google
You can
Podcasts?
There's Google Podcasts.
Yes.
think, yeah.
So on that note, I would like to tell our listeners that you can find us everywhere, guys. You can find us on Apple Podcast. You can find us on Google Podcast. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on the IVM website. You can find us on SoundCloud. And since yesterday, we are recording this today. So since yesterday, we are on Savan as well.
Woo!
So yeah, we are everywhere, guys. Also, I would like to thank the listeners for listening to us so much that we are #1 podcast in India on Apple Podcasts.
Congratulations, guys! How to Citizen.
Yeah. So fun times, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And do you want to tell people where to follow you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Aishwarya Mohanraj. I'm going to do a proper. This better be a clean cut.
Yeah.
Put it in the beginning, middle, end. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Aishwarya MRJ. On Facebook, my name is Aishwarya Mohanraj. On Twitter, my handle is Aishwarya MRJ.
Very nice.
Don't follow me home, okay? Jesus.
Police ko बुलाएगी.
On that note.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Shreyas_Manohar. On Twitter, I'm at Very Shreyas.
You can follow me on at Meghnad on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram at Meghnad S. Also follow IVM Podcast on at IVM Podcast, Twitter and Instagram both, and also follow them on Facebook. And I keep repeating this, please restart your Facebook page every podcast. So please do it, and please keep following their other great shows as well. Please follow IVM Podcast, please follow all of us, and keep telling us what you think about this podcast.
Yes.
Leave us ratings. Keep telling us what you think. Curse us.
Yeah.
Say that tumko kuch aata hai
Don't do
nahi.
that. Shut up.
Yeah.
And if you want to send us feedback, just write it all in the review and rate us
Yeah.
5. That's the...
Yeah. So thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
I hope you had fun.
A
And
lot.
thank you, Shreyas.
Of course.
I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
In the next episode of How to Citizen, we have comedian Uruj Ashfaq. While all of us struggle to understand what is marginalization.
Hi listeners, we at Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund have come up with a special podcast series called MF 101 in collaboration with Bloomberg Quint. MF 101 is an informative series that will help you understand the recipe behind mutual fund investments. And what's more, it's coming from the chefs of the mutual fund buffet table, from the very own fund managers and analysts who are the manufacturers of the funds that help you realize your investment goals. New episodes out every Monday. You can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Don Bradman, and now Cyrus Brocha. Okay, probably not in the right company. I mean, Don Bradman is Australian. But it's called Cyrus Says, a wonderful show about everything. Find the show on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.